Yeah, so I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because you're excited to put it together or you were in a rush or whatever the case. But bro, just because you drill the holes, right, and you take off these tabs, you ain't done. You're not done when it's like that. Look closer. You see the injection molding blemish? And then I took a piece of sandpaper to that. You could tell where I sanded. It's like kind of like got that fade spot. But I sanded that off. But look closer. I didn't do the channel because I wanted to show you something. When people cut off their tabs, they're leaving the shit like that. And I took some 1,000 grit, 1,500, and 2,000 grit to this after I was done. But stop leaving your shit like this, guys. Please. Stop leaving your tab spots like this. Your tab, after it's cut off, should look like that back piece there. Like it was never even there. You need to go in there, take the time, and get it the first time quality, guys. Get it that factory showroom floor finish. Like, look close. That's not perfect. I can see where that tab was. You can see the outline. Yeah, it's flat. It's flat. Yeah, the rear trigger housing module, the rails part will fit down in there fine. But it looks like shit underneath. Same thing here. Sure, you can put that front locking block in there, right? It'll definitely seat flush in there. But look close. There's still very thin spot of material in there that's not supposed to be there. And I can still see that outline of where those tabs were, guys. That is not how a frame should look. If you were to buy this from the store already done and you saw this, would you be like, oh man, this is great customer service, this is a excellent product, look at the showroom quality? Fuck no, you'd be complaining and wanting a new frame. So why are you guys doing your builds and leaving the shit like this? I'm sorry for cursing, and I'll try not to do that in future videos, but like, dude, it's really getting to me. The more and more builds I see, dudes who make their shit a Gen 4 or Gen 5 out of these Gen 3 frames, they'll have, dude, it looks like it's fucking ashy as hell, like it needs some lotion down in here. Or it'll be like all uneven and choppy, or look like you put a fucking sanding drum in there, like you got sand dune drifts all over the side of your fucking channel. Like, dude, it should look like this. You gotta polish it back. You can do whatever you want to these Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, don't matter to me. But anything you remove, whether it's the tabs, whether you're widening this channel, whether it's the rear tab, whether it's the injection molding, or the seams that come on these. Look closely. You see that seam down the center there? It's not as bad on these as it is in the polymer 80s. These strikes aren't as bad, but you see it there. If you're removing any of that, okay, any material that you take off, you need to not only sand and level that, but then you need to blend and polish that so that it looks like this, like that. Like you can't tell that that's not manufactured within the gun. That's how they make it passes at 80% lower. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I want the rail, this part here where I move those tabs, I want it to look like this here. I don't want to see any outlines, imprints, imperfections, any of that. And look, this is from the factory. You see that two-tone, because they have this like step right here, this accelerator cut, it's almost made a ledge in the actual top of the frame as well. That's no good. I'm smoothing that out so it's one flat even plane all the way across, and it looks like I didn't remove anything. To me, this is garbage. There's no way I'm gonna continue with the assembly process and have it look like this. The people that leave it like this are the same people that are putting in those dull bullshit locking blocks and rear rail modules. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll take it right out the bag and plop it in, then do a little level sanding and call it good. Bro, that shit should look like a mirror. Like it was chrome plated when you polish it, bro. Not just level sand. Like, stop half-assing it. When we build these guys, there should be no difference from this looking like something you bought off the shelf, fully customized from some top-end, high-end manufacturer, versus when we do it. The problem is people are rushing it and half-assing it, using the improper tools, or even if you have the improper tools, you could still finesse it. It's just going to take more time to make it look like a showroom factory, showpiece. Like, whether we mix and match parts, all that stuff's irrelevant. Your fit and finish and the way things look on your lower should look like it came that way. I don't care what you do to your piece. No matter what you modify, I don't care if it's trigger bars, trigger housings, whatever. Fit and finish it properly. Don't just, if you're using a Gen 4 trigger housing or a Gen 5 trigger housing, don't just clip off those legs and then throw it in the gun, in the lower frame. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta polish that off. I don't care if you can't see it. It needs to look like it came from the factory that way. It really drives me crazy. My OCD, I don't give a fuck about that fancy $700 Trijicon SRO or that fancy Trijicon RMR or your Hollow Sun or whatever the fuck red dot or reflex sight you got on there. I don't give a shit about none of that. My eyes immediately look at that fit and finish. If I don't see those rails gleaming between the gap from the lower and the upper, if I don't see those rails gleaming through there, I don't even care about the rest of your build. I'm going to be straight up. When you take off that upper and I see sandpaper marks and blemishes and all that shit down in there from you opening up this channel and you didn't finish it off properly, I don't give a fuck what you did, what you made, how you modified it, how you made what work with what. I don't care. That's a half-ass piece of shit build. You can put $3,000 in parts on that build. And to me, it's still going to be a bunch of very good high-end parts on a piece of shit build because you didn't take the time to make a first-time quality like it came from the factory that way. All these little imperfections need to be addressed before we go any further. You need to check these pinhole alignments before you go any further. And then you're going to go in there and you're going to clean up. See that right there, the back side of that? You need to clean that up, fellas. When we look down in there, you see this in the back there, down inside of there? You need to clean that all up so it looks like it came that way. That hole should look like this hole when it's done. Like it came from the factory that way, folks. Whether it's stipple jobs, whether it's Cerakoting, I don't care what you do. Take pride in your work. Take pride in yourself. I don't want to hear about break-in periods and you got to work it in and all that. That shit should work from the very first time you pull that trigger and you go to the range and you put one down range. Every ejection, every extraction, every feeding of those bullets into the chambers of the gun, everything, it should rack, go in the battery, it should return, it should reset on the trigger, everything should work from day one. If it doesn't, you did it wrong. Something's wrong. You didn't prep it properly. You didn't fit it properly. You didn't use the right part or the right component, or the tolerances are stacking and something is wrong. You need to fix that. And it should be right from day one. I'm tired of seeing these half-ass builds. But, yeah, ran over. I'm just pointing this out that many people will call this good, and I call this trash. You know, I can see where all those tabs were. I put some 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 grit sandpaper to this for what, 5 minutes? And you think that's good? Guys, come on, man. Come on. Search some pride in yourselves and in your work. Until next time, take care.